Sorry, my phone messed up. So, hi guys. I'm going to do a video today and also feature videos of me rating my Yaoi manga I'm gonna reread them and I'm gonna rate them for you. All the Yaoi manga I have unboxed for you guys and rate them. And today I'm gonna rate Love Recipe Volume 1. And I forgot to tell you who the author is of it. Kuriko Hagashizato. And I was right on the money when I said this was an early 2000s manga. Okay, I'm gonna go officially by the Japanese publishing of this manga. It was published in Japan in 2005, but this is a first edition in English in 2007. But I'm gonna go by the original I can't talk today. Publish version of I can't talk. I'm sorry. Published way of in the Japanese version. You always go by how they're published in Japan instead of the English way, because the year and how they're published in Japan, not in the way it's published in America. So I always know in the art style differentiate if it's drawn, if it's an early 2000s manga or anime, because how the artist draws the eyes, the hair, everything, because I grew up in that era. I grew up in that era because there's anime and stuff, because how they drew the eyes, the eyes, everything. There's a certain way how they drew the characters, the girls, the girls, how they drew the girls and everything. Their eyes. It's just how it is. And I was right on the money. So, the character development, the comedy, everything, like how they drew the character development, like, oh my god, like the seme and the ook, everything, like the mo, everything. I just loved it. Like, I put bunny ears on the ook. I just loved it. Like, everything was just perfect. And this is quite different than Yaoi today. It quite is. And I liked the approach of it. How they did Yaoi back then is quite different than they do today. Like, they didn't do any ders. They don't do ders or does. They just it was quite different. They just had them connect bodies, and that's just it. That's pretty much it. I've read older yaois before, and that's just how they did it. I remember reading some exactly like this, because it was a different time back then. It was a different time. It was a different time. Just as it was in the 80s and 90s. It was a different time when they were doing yaoi. And You just didn't draw ders or does and yaoi like they do today. You just didn't do it. And now it's more accepted. And you know, I just give this give this a 5 stars because I loved the character development. I love the setting, and like the seme just is like he's mine. He's mine. Nobody's gonna touch him. And I just love that. He was possessive and everything. And I'm like, ooh, I love this character development. He's like, he's mine. I'm gonna draw him to me. And like I'm gonna keep him beside me. And he had this plan. He had this plan and everything to not let anybody else get to and it was everything. I was like, oh my god, this is interesting. Like, it was so interesting. He had this plan and everything, and all the while the, is it the Uki? It's what is it? The guy that's the manga artist. He was the possessive one, and is it the editing guy, the editor? He he was trying to understand Yaoi, and he was just having a hard time. And in the end, he finally understood it. Like, it was so good. Like, you'd have to get this and read it. You gotta understand Yaoi of this time was so different. You just gotta understand it. It's so different. It is. Like, it's drawn different. And, like, the girls, like, the little maid girls, they're dressed in lolly form. Their eyes are drawn different than manga girls of today. You gotta understand. It's totally different. 2000s anime. Different. It's different. And back then, it was the genre where being gay was also hard to accept also back then too. And it's not so accepted back then into the 2000s either. Even back then, in the early 2000s, even in Japan, I think even in Japan too. I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Japan, but I know it was in America, and I know because I knew some. I just know because I've heard about it from people back then that I've talked to that are older than me that said, oh, it was hard back then. Like, I've heard about people talking about it on Facebook. Like, back in the early 2000s, it was hard. Like, being gay was hard. And I know it was hard. Being gay back then was hard. And even in the 90s, it was hard. Like, coming out. And so, like, I know in Yaoi, they can't, like, fully show ders and, like, you know what I mean? But now today they can in Yaoi, but it's more accepted. So, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that early 2000s Yaoi are like this. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Like, I don't have to see ders all the time. Like, I can use my imagination, you know. But I give this a 5 stars, like, for a manga of this time. The build up of the story, the art. I mean, at first, like, the artist, like, the manga artist in this manga was all scruffy and everything. But when he shaved his face down, he was a pretty boy. Seriously, he looked younger and everything. He was a pretty boy. I mean, goddamn. He was. I mean, like hell, man. And he was a real flirt. Real flirt. And he was trying to prove his love and everything. The freaking editor was oblivious. He's like, I'm trying to show you my feelings. I'm trying to show you my feelings. Why don't you get it? And I just love this cover right here. I just do. He's like, I'm a devil bunny, and you're like an angel bunny. That just shows you right there how possessive that guy, like the manga artist is, the Yaoi manga artist is in this Yaoi manga. He is possessive in this Yaoi manga over this guy. You'll read that he is over the guy he's in love with. Like, he totally is. Wants it for himself. Okay. I'll just leave the spoilers out. But it was for used manga. It was totally worth it. Worth the money I spent for it. I don't even remember how much it was. Because I enjoyed it so much, but it's totally 5 stars for a 2005 manga. Yaoi manga. If I could find the second volume to this, I'd totally buy it, but there was no second volume. There was no second volume. I looked all over Amazon. No second volume. I was like, no, I want another one. But I'm like, no, I can't have a complete series. Why? But it's part of my collection. I don't know what'll happen to my collection when I die. I don't know. I don't know. I hope it'll go to someone who else is a Fujoshi. I hope so. I'll give it to another Fujoshi. I'll put it in my will. Give it to another Fujoshi. Who can read English. You know. But yeah, I'd give this a total 5 stars. For an old manga like this, like I said, 5 stars. Totally worth the read. And if you guys can find Love Recipe Volume 1, if you can find it anywhere on the internet, and buy it in English, and if you can read English, get it. Worth your while, and the art is pretty good. It is. Of its time. It's totally worth the buy. I mean, the Ook is freaking adorable. he is adorable. And the seme, he's a freaking pretty boy when he's cleaned up of the damn, like, stubble and shit. Yeah. That's my rating. 5 stars. And me ran. But yeah. Me gushing over this. And I'll do another rating next time. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Love was Sean out.